Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We finally got some news on Modern Warfare 2. And no, we're not talking whatever that was in 2022 with Modern Warfare 2. We are talking the OG, in my opinion, the GOAT. Modern Warfare 2 2009. This and Black Ops 2 gotta be up there, number one, number two. You can argue which one you think is the true number one as the top two COD games. And ever since they came and went, the COD community has been saying we gotta have a remaster. We need to relive the glory days. We gotta go back to that and see if it's as good as we all remember it being. In a lot of cases, those remasters and, going back to the nostalgia stuff kind of highlights a lot of the flaws that you might not have realized back in the day, right? But everyone's been asking, really begging for a Modern Warfare 2 remaster of some kind. And then we finally got it with the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster, which, sure, that was cool, but let's be honest. Most players, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign was fantastic. Most players want Modern Warfare 2 back for the multiplayer experience, to run around on Rust and Quickscope with the intervention, to run around on Terminal with the ACR and the UMP, and to go for nukes and to have that sort of multiplayer experience back, right? And so dropping campaign remaster is just like, all right, cool, we got a slight taste of it, but we want the rest of it, right? Like, you gave us the appetizer and then you just didn't bring out dinner. You didn't bring out the rest of what we were supposed to be eating, right? However, while it's not technically Modern Warfare 2 remastered, it does seem, according to some new leaks and rumors, that Modern Warfare 2 2009 is finally coming back, at least through Game Pass. So this is new info stemming from Insider Gaming, about as credible as a source as it gets when it comes to gaming information. And the headline of this reads, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Now, this is something that we all expected, and it's been a long time coming. Ever since we first got word of Microsoft attempting to acquire Activision Blizzard, it's like, oh, COD's gonna be a Game Pass title. We're finally gonna be able to have those old COD games on Game Pass. And then they did the acquisition and nothing really came of it. We saw MW3 go to Game Pass. We saw Black Ops 6 obviously launch on Game Pass, but nothing for the old CODs. And then a few months ago, we started to see updates to all these older games. Randomly, Black Ops 1 would get an update, and then Modern Warfare 2 would get an update, and then Black Ops 3 would get an update. Like, super random things. It's like, what's going on these decade-old games that is requiring an update? And so people started to connect the dots. Hey, maybe they're bracing for them to get on Game Pass, and they want to make sure things are stable and ready for that. But again, nothing's come of it until now, where we have this post that reads, Xbox Game Pass is set to add a classic Call of Duty game to its library as Modern Warfare 2 is heading to the subscription service, and that's 2009's Modern Warfare 2, not the same name of game released in 2022. First reported by Xbox era, Modern Warfare 2 will be coming to the service either in March or April this year. Insider gaming sources can corroborate this report. So, March or April, we are finally going to have Modern Warfare 2 back and playable, and likely with an active player base for the first time since, 10 years ago. Modern Warfare 2 was still plenty active in the years following it, because a lot of the time back in the day, in the golden era of COD, the old COD titles, it wasn't like a one and done style year where, yes, there were still new CODs releasing every year, but there was a large player base that was always playing the older game, especially back then when Black Ops 1, you could go back, play MW2. Black Ops 2 dropped, you could go back, play MW3. And people were bouncing back and forth between all these games because they were just genuinely fun and good games at the time. Whereas nowadays, it's very much so, hey, play this COD this year, but then don't get too hung up on it because next year the new one's basically going to replace it in all capacity, and we're going to force everyone to, be incentivized to play that new game. Sure, you can go back and play the old ones, and plenty of players still do, but it just kind of hit different back in the day, right? That said, though, I will say right away with the dates here, March or April, so it's not set in stone, at least based on the reporting here. What's important to note, though, is that something else very, very big is happening in March, reportedly, and that's the return of Verdansk. And let's be real here, Call of Duty wants the attention, and they don't want to take attention away from themselves, especially they don't want to, compete with other things as is, but Call of Duty wants to prioritize their big things. That's why we have a standalone Warzone integration. It doesn't launch alongside the main game. That's why we have certain things happen later on in the year. Like this, for instance, with Season 3 of Black Ops 6 and Warzone, which kicks off on March 20th, I believe is the exact date. Verdansk is set to return. That's the rumor, that's the leak as of right now. And so I will say, unless this is happening in early March, I don't think it'll happen then. I think it'll happen in April, maybe a bit after Verdansk is back. That way, Call of Duty doesn't have the situation of, hey, Verdansk is back, everyone jump on Warzone, relive the glory days of that. And then it's also, hey, Modern Warfare 2 is also back on Game Pass. Go relive the glory days there. Then they're splitting the player base. They don't necessarily want that, although, yes, it's good to have all of these players on COD. They definitely want to have the reports saying, hey, we broke this many records because Verdansk returned. And then they can drop MW2 back on Game Pass separately and say, oh, also, we shattered the Game Pass subscription record in a day or whatever because Modern Warfare 2 was back. You know, whatever the case is. All hypotheticals, of course, but that's got to be kind of the business direction they're looking at there. So I personally would say April's maybe a little bit more likely here, but it's something to take note of. Here's where things get interesting, though. It's the details surrounding Modern Warfare 2 returning. They say, as of writing, it remains unclear if it's going to be the full game coming to the service or just the campaign. It's also unknown if the original version of the game or if it's going to be the remastered campaign, if that does end up being the case, because obviously we have Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered and we have just base OG Modern Warfare 2. I don't think that it would go over very well if they brought campaign remastered to Game Pass. I think there would be a lot of very angry gamers saying, you have heard us asking for Modern Warfare 2 for a decade plus, and you gave us the campaign remastered again. Like, that's not going to go over well. That's not going to incentivize people to buy Game Pass necessarily. Whereas Modern Warfare 2, the original, with multiplayer and the campaign and Spec Ops and everything included, yeah, that'd be a very big attention grabber, right? They say when it does release on the service, Modern Warfare 2 will become the first classic Call of Duty game to be available for Game Pass members. It will join recent titles like Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3 as the only games available. That said, this, I would imagine, would be sort of the snowball, if you will, where Modern Warfare 2 drops as one, and then it just sort of trends. Then we see this other classic COD game, whether it's World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, MW3, all the way through whatever titles you want to list, right? I think it's pretty obvious that eventually these classic COD games will be on Game Pass because that will be a driving factor behind Game Pass sales. People wanting to relive those classic CODs and you know, feed off that nostalgia because it's definitely there. People have been asking for this, as mentioned, for a long, long time. So this is promising news. However, there are some asterisks here, right? Could it be campaign only? Will there be a multiplayer included? Also, looking at general gameplay here, with Game Pass being a console thing and then also Game Pass on PC, if you can go back and you can play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer on PC, are they going to do anything to update the protections there? Because a big issue on Steam for a long, long time was playing these classic COD games genuinely was not safe. You could risk getting all sorts of crazy stuff on your computer by playing multiplayer and having these peer-to-peer, servers like the games had for a while there. Will the hacking situation just be out of control? If they don't do anything to update that, then yeah, the game is basically going to be unplayable on PC because people are going to jump on MW2 with their cheats and it'll just run rampant, even more so than it is already in Call of Duty where Ricochet is supposed to be active. Now, it might be a different story on console and on the, Xbox console exclusive version of Game Pass there. Would they ever introduce crossplay between the two? So Game Pass PC could play with Game Pass console on, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer or any of the other classic CODs. These are questions that ultimately don't just apply to Modern Warfare 2 here, but they apply to any potential classic COD that does end up releasing via Game Pass, because while the nostalgia is there, if they don't do certain things to, prop up the gameplay and kind of sustain it to a certain extent, things could go awry. Things could go wrong and sort of backfire. Hey, you got all the hype for MW2, but then it's gone in a week when there's cheaters or, there's other issues going on at the game. So very curious to see how they would approach that. But nonetheless, it does appear that finally Modern Warfare 2 gameplay is coming back. Obviously, as we see any new updates or information surface regarding this, I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop, so stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed the video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.